Please like, share and subscribe channel for more ghost stories. Also, share your experiences in comments. Story 1, Ghosts in Hospital. I am not sure if this was an encounter with the paranormal or not, but it does freak me out. I was doing night duty during my residency at All India Institute of Medical Sciences. It was about 2 a.m. in the night and I was in the second floor ward. The lights were dimmed in the ward. The ward was divided in 2 cubicles. One of the cubicles was the ICU, which had 4 beds. Everyone was sleeping and it was very quiet. There was one nurse and she had gone to another ward. I was sitting in the nursing station trying to complete patient notes in the case files. It was winter and was cold outside. I heard a shrill voice from the ICU, "Doctor, doctor, save me, save me." I got up and saw that the ICU was dimly lit. 3 of the 4 patients were on the ventilator and only one was conscious. He was a young man about 30 years old with blood cancer that had come back. There was no chance of him getting cured. I went to the ICU and saw him sweating profusely. I saw the look of terror on his face. He saw me and held my arms tightly. He said, "Doctor, don't go, stay here with me, don't make any noise." I quickly glanced at his vital parameters. His blood pressure and other vital signs were normal apart from a fast heart rate. He said, "They are coming," pointing towards the half-open window. "They are 4 of them, 2 boys and 2 girls, they are naked and drinking, they are calling me and asking me to join them, they are dead, I don't want to go with them, they are bad people, please save me." I diagnosed that he was hallucinating and having delirium because of his brain being involved with cancer. Suddenly he caught my arms even more tightly. "They are standing next to you, don't move, they are very bad people." I looked around and said no one is around. Meanwhile the ward sister had come and I asked her to sedate the patient. I told the patient, "See, I am going to close the window, everything will be fine." I went and closed the window and tightly locked it and told the sister to keep it locked. He settled down and went back to sleep. At 5 a.m. the ward sister called me that the patient had started bleeding. When I arrived the patient was profusely bleeding from the mouth. It was expected as he had terminal cancer. I started CPR but he could not be revived. As I stopped the CPR and declared him dead, I glanced towards the window, it was open. I have a general observation, don't know if it's true, that people who are going to die soon hallucinate a lot, and we can't just say that that's mere an imagination. My distant grand relative, who was in a good mental state before dying, all of a sudden 2 days before her death, had started shouting at people in her life who had died years ago. She complained of seeing them in her room and would often ask them to leave. Before that, she was totally sane. This incident is quite questionable. Story 2, Office Ghost. One cold December night in Kochi, I was working late at my office along with Jay, a young, new recruit fresh out of college. The sea-facing office was a converted duplex flat at the topmost level of a 12-story building. There was a large outer office, the inner office where we were sitting, a kitchenette, and a washroom on the lower floor, and an attic-type room, and another washroom on the upper floor. There were 3 other flats on the same floor, but none of them was occupied. With the last of the day's ferries leaving the dock next to the apartment complex, the noises died down outside, and all that was left was an eerie silence. We were about to wrap up the work when we heard heavy footsteps pounding on the wooden stairway that led to the attic, at a deliberately measured pace. As there was no one else around, we had locked the door to the entrance earlier. So it couldn't be an intruder. We both froze and looked at each other. The footsteps went upwards like in a continuous loop, starting from the lowest step and ending at the landing of the attic, and repeating from the lowest step again. Without any footsteps coming down. We could clearly hear the steps creaking, as they were encased into the wall of the room we were sitting in. I could see that Jay was petrified and numb with fear. I shook him by the shoulder. He shuddered, and started making the sign of the cross repeatedly, and mouthed in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. To this day, I'm not sure what I would have done, had I been alone. But seeing him like that, I felt terribly sorry for him, and it filled me with a sense of responsibility. I whispered to him not to worry, and then said in a louder voice that I'd go up and have a look. I thought it the manly thing to go alone, as I knew Jay wouldn't dare to confront whatever apparition was out there. But before I could push the chair back, he held my hand in a vice grip and said he'd come with me. I was touched by his apparent refusal to let me face my worst fears alone. We went to the foot of the stairs in the outer office and stood there listening. All we could hear was deafening silence. We went up the stairs slowly, with me leading the way. At each step, we stopped and listened. Except for the unbearably loud thump-thump-thump of our hearts, and the almost imperceptible sounds of our breathing, all was quiet. Emboldened, we went into the attic and the adjoining washroom and searched every inch of space, without a clue as to what we were expecting to find. We found nothing. I heaved a sigh of relief and started talking loudly, telling him we were imagining to have heard the sounds. It felt like a lie even before the words left my lips. Relieved, we both came down, this time with him rushing down the stairs, dragging me with him. We spoke louder than necessary, and laughed like fools as if that would scare our fears away. We went back into the inner office, and were gulping down glass after glass of water when we heard the footsteps again. And again. And again. In unison, without a word spoken, we grabbed our bags and ran to the entrance. Somehow I closed and locked the door, expecting the door to be pulled back any time from inside. Without waiting for the painfully slow lift to come up, we ran down the stairs 2 at a time, all 12 flights of it. The namesake security guard was sitting in a chair in the electrical room with the door ajar, his drooping jaw touching his chest, with a stream of drool meandering southward. When I dropped him where he lived, and was about to drive home, I thanked Jay for the courage he showed in not letting me face the unknown by coming along with me to investigate. Oh, no need to thank me. I was terrified at the thought of being left alone if you'd go up without me. I would have died sitting there alone. I had no choice but to come with you. Hope you have enjoyed the ghost stories. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe for more ghost stories.